Your wife can serve us. My brothers turned my anniversary dinner into their business meeting. The reservation at Lumiere had taken 3 months to secure. I'd called in a favor from a client, pulled strings, and finally managed to book the chef's table for our 10th anniversary. The sommelier had already paired wines with each course. The flowers I'd ordered, white orchids, Emma's favorite, graced our intimate table, and I'd even convinced the pianist to learn our wedding song. Then my brothers walked in. Marcus entered first, phone pressed to his ear, gesturing wildly as he barked orders to someone about quarterly projections. Behind him, Derek scrolled through his tablet, and Ryan carried a laptop bag that meant only one thing: they'd found me. Perfect timing, Marcus announced, ending his call and pulling out the chair across from Emma. We need to nail down the Singapore presentation. Emma's hand tightened on her champagne flute, but her expression remained serene. 10 years of marriage had taught me to recognize the dangerous calm that preceded a storm. Her eyes met mine across the table, one eyebrow slightly raised, our silent language asking, "Did you invite them?" I shook my head minutely. "Gentlemen," I started, "this is our anniversary dinner." "Yeah, Mom told us," Derek said, commandeering the empty chair beside me while flagging down the waiter. "That's how we knew where to find you. We need 3 more settings here." The waiter looked at me apologetically. I nodded, defeated already. This was how it always went with my brothers. They steamrolled everything in their path, assuming the world would rearrange itself around their needs. Ryan opened his laptop on the pristine white tablecloth, shoving aside the orchids. "So the Morrison Industries deal. We need to restructure the whole proposal by Monday." "It's Thursday night," I said quietly. "Our anniversary is today." Marcus laughed, the same dismissive sound he'd perfected when we were kids and I'd asked to play with them. "Anniversary happens every year, little brother. This deal happens once." They'd already transformed our romantic table into their war room. Spreadsheets covered the space where Emma's gift had been waiting. The laptop screen glowed where candlelight should have flickered. Their voices dominated the restaurant's careful ambience, drawing irritated glances from other diners. "Emma, honey," Derek said without looking at her, snapping his fingers in her direction. "Your wife can take notes. We need someone tracking action items." The snap echoed in my mind like a gunshot. Emma carefully set down her champagne. "Excuse me." Marcus waved dismissively while pulling up a presentation. "You know, keep track of what we're discussing. Maybe grab us some waters too. This is important." "Your wife can serve us," Ryan added, finally looking up from his screen. "Nathan, you really should have married someone in business. At least then she'd understand what we're dealing with." Emma stood slowly, smoothing her dress, the deep blue one she'd worn on our first date, chosen specially for tonight. "You're absolutely right. I should serve you." Something in her tone made Marcus pause mid-sentence. The entire restaurant seemed to sense the shift in atmosphere. Emma pulled out her phone, typed something quickly, then smiled, not her warm smile, but the one I'd seen her use in court when she was about to destroy an opposing counsel. "Gentlemen, before I fetch your water, let me ask you something. The Morrison Industries deal, that's your biggest client, correct? The one that would make or break your firm?" Derek laughed nervously. "Yeah, obviously. That's why we're here." "Interesting." Emma walked toward the restaurant's entrance, her heels clicking against the marble floor with metronomic precision. "Because I think someone else just arrived who might want to discuss that deal." A woman entered, tall, commanding, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my brother's monthly rent. She surveyed the restaurant, her gaze landing on our table with laser focus. Marcus went white. "Is that Rebecca Morrison?" Emma supplied helpfully. "CEO of Morrison Industries. Also, my best friend since law school." I texted her that 3 ambitious young men were so eager to discuss her company's business that they crashed my anniversary dinner to do it. Rebecca approached our table with the measured stride of someone who'd fired Fortune 500 executives for sport. "Marcus Chen. Derek Chen. Ryan Chen." She said each name like she was reading from an execution list. "I understand you find my company's deal too urgent to wait for Monday's scheduled meeting." "Ms. Morrison," Marcus stammered, attempting to stand but tangling himself in the laptop cord. "We weren't expecting." "No, you weren't." Rebecca's voice could have frozen champagne. "You were expecting to hijack your brother's anniversary dinner to prepare for our meeting. Tell me, is this the level of professionalism I can expect from your firm?" "It's not what it looks like," Derek tried. "Really?" Rebecca picked up one of their spreadsheets. Because it looks like you're reviewing confidential client information in a public restaurant on an unsecured laptop while treating your sister-in-law like a secretary. She turned to Emma, her entire demeanor warming. Emma, darling, I'm so sorry these. She paused, looking at my brothers like they were something she'd stepped in. Individuals interrupted your celebration. Emma hugged her briefly. I knew you were in town for the symphony tomorrow. Thought you might enjoy dinner and a show. The show is certainly entertaining. Rebecca turned back to my brothers. Let me explain something about Morrison Industries. We don't just evaluate business proposals. We evaluate the people behind them. Their judgment, their character, their ability to respect boundaries and maintain professional standards. Ryan's laptop was still open, the screen reflecting off his glasses as sweat beaded on his forehead. We can explain. No need. Rebecca pulled out her phone. I'm texting my CFO right now to cancel Monday's meeting. We'll be exploring other options for our Singapore expansion. You can't. That's a $50 million deal. Marcus's voice cracked. 53 million, actually, Rebecca corrected. And I can absolutely pull it. You see, when Emma Chen, yes, Chen, she kept her name. When Emma tells me someone is treating her poorly, I listen. Because Emma Chen isn't just anyone. She gestured to my wife, who was now sitting calmly, sipping her champagne. Emma Chen is the lead attorney who saved Morrison Industries from a hostile takeover 2 years ago. She's the one who restructured our entire international division. She's the reason we're expanding to Singapore in the first place. My brothers looked like they'd been hit by a truck. Your wife, Rebecca continued, her voice dripping with disdain at the phrase, is the highest-paid corporate attorney in the state. She owns 3 patents for legal technology innovations. She's published in Harvard Law Review. Twice. Derek's mouth opened and closed soundlessly. But please, Rebecca said, pulling out a chair to sit next to Emma. Don't let me stop you from snapping your fingers at her for water. The silence stretched until the pianist, bless him, began playing our wedding song as if on cue. Marcus found his voice first. Nathan, you never told us. You never asked, I said simply. In 15 years, not one of you has ever asked Emma a single question about herself. You've never asked what she does, where she went to school, what her interests are. You just assumed she was decoration. A +1 who should be grateful to be included. Emma reached across the table and took my hand. Nathan wanted to tell you so many times. I asked him not to. I wanted to see if any of you would ever see me as a person worth knowing. This is entrapment, Ryan muttered. Rebecca laughed, sharp and cutting. This is consequences. You want to talk about the Singapore deal? Let's talk. Morrison Industries values respect, discretion, and good judgment. You've displayed none of those qualities tonight. What you have displayed is sexism, nepotism, and an astounding lack of professionalism. She stood, adjusting her jacket. Your firm will receive formal notification tomorrow that Morrison Industries is terminating all discussions. I'd suggest you use the weekend to figure out how to explain to your senior partners why you lost the biggest deal of the year. Marcus grabbed for his last lifeline. Nathan, you're our brother. Tell them this is a misunderstanding. I looked at him, really looked at him. The older brother who'd locked me out of his room. Who'd told me I was too stupid to understand business. Who'd taken credit for my ideas at family dinners and laughed when I protested. You're right. I am your brother. And for 32 years, that's meant being your doormat. Your backup plan. Your invisible +1 who should be grateful to be included. I squeezed Emma's hand. But I'm also Emma's husband. And that means choosing her dignity over your deals. Derek's face flushed red. You're seriously going to let your wife cost us $50 million? Emma stood gracefully. 53 million. And I'm not costing you anything. You cost yourselves everything the moment you decided I was furniture. The waiter approached cautiously with menus for my brothers. Rebecca waved him off. They are leaving. In fact, Lumiere will be implementing a new policy. The Chen brothers are no longer welcome here. Professional courtesy to one of our best clients. She smiled at Emma. My brothers gathered their things in stuttering movements, the weight of what they'd lost settling on their shoulders like stones. Marcus turned at the door, his expression desperate. Nathan. Happy anniversary to us, I said, raising my champagne glass to Emma. After they left, Rebecca stayed for one drink, regaling us with stories of their pathetic attempts to pitch to her board. Then she gracefully excused herself, leaving us to salvage what remained of our anniversary. The chef, who'd been watching the drama from the kitchen, Sent out an entirely new tasting menu with compliments and apologies for the interruption. The pianist played every song from our wedding. Other diners sent over champagne, having witnessed the entire spectacular downfall. You could have told me Rebecca was in town, I said as we shared the dessert, dark chocolate souffle with gold leaf. Emma smiled, her real smile this time. I didn't know if they'd show up. Your mother has a habit of telling them where we are, doesn't she? I just thought it might be nice to have insurance. $53 million worth of insurance. They've stolen 10 years of anniversaries, birthdays, and holidays. 53 million seems like a bargain. My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. What did you do? Your brothers are devastated. How could you let Emma humiliate them? I showed it to Emma. She took my phone, typed something, and handed it back. The message read, "The same way you let them humiliate her for a decade." Easily. I hit send and then turned off my phone. Emma raised her glass. To 10 years. To the next 50, I counted. We clinked glasses as the pianist began our song again, the notes floating through a restaurant that had become ours alone. My brother's ambitions dissolved like sugar in champagne, sweet at first taste, then gone forever. Later, as we walked home along the river, Emma's hand in mine, she said quietly, "You know they'll never forgive you." "Good," I said, meaning it. "Maybe now they'll finally leave us alone." She laughed, the sound bright in the darkness. "Nathan Chen, when did you become such an optimist?" "The day I married the woman who just destroyed my brothers with a single text message." "Technically, they destroyed themselves. Technically, you're terrifying. And you love it." I pulled her close, there on the bridge overlooking the city lights reflected in the water. "I love you, even if you hadn't just saved me from another hijacked anniversary. Especially because I did. Especially because you did it with style." In the distance, I could imagine my brothers in crisis mode, trying to figure out how to explain losing the Morrison account. They'd blame everyone but themselves, Emma, Rebecca, me, the universe's cruel sense of timing. But for the first time in my life, I didn't care what my brothers thought. I had Emma, and as it turned out, that was worth infinitely more than $53 million.